is really ideal because it shows the slides, but there's so much in the narrative that you miss if you only have the slides. So we'll just wait a couple more minutes. Well, it doesn't seem to be moving, so let's go ahead. I can do the score slides, and if people still come on, they won't miss anything.
Okay.
So, welcome everybody. We're delighted that you have chosen to spend an hour with us this evening, and look forward to an interesting presentation. I assume that you're all interested in franchises as an option for your business. And so you're going to get all the latest information tonight. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about SCORE. For those of you who don't know about SCORE, we are a volunteer organization. Our mission is to foster vibrant small business communities. We do this through mentoring and education. And we hope that every person who wants to start a business or has a business and wants to grow that business will have the support that they need to be successful. So your success is our success. If you're not successful, then we are not successful. We are a network of free volunteers. There are over 10,000 of us across the country. So almost any town or city that you go to is going to have a SCORE chapter. Also, that means that if you have an interest in a business that our local chapter doesn't have a mentor with that kind of background, we can call on one of those other 10,000 people to help you. So we have all kinds of entrepreneurs that work with us. We have about 10% are veterans and over 50% are women, which I'm very excited about. I think that's fantastic. So what we offer, mentoring, we do now mostly remote mentoring, although some of us are starting to do in-person mentoring again. We do these webinars, and we also have recorded webinars as far as training. We also have articles and blogs on our website. And our website is probably the most important of our resources aside from the volunteers. If you go to our website, which is cleveland.score.org, you'll find all kinds of interesting tools, templates, as I said, blogs, articles. You will see the schedule of upcoming webinars, as well as recordings of those that have occurred in the past. So go to the website, and you can also there sign up to have a mentor, and I would encourage you to do that. It's free, and it's always helpful to bounce your ideas off of somebody who's willing to listen. So our services are free because we get much of our support from the Small Business Administration, but we also get a lot of support from organizations in the Cleveland area that want to support the growth of small businesses. So we're delighted that they're willing to give us that support. This is just a shot of our website. You can see find a mentor, take a workshop, or browse the library. So there are lots of opportunities. And again, I encourage you to look at it and sign up for a mentor. And then I am going to stop sharing, and happy to introduce Reese McBrody, who is an expert on franchising. and is going to give us a lot of inside information on what needs to go on when you start a franchise. So I'm going to shut up and let you get started.
Oops, perfect. Let me just, it's been so long since I've done a weapon. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, it's going to go. I hope so. Okay, good evening. I am Therese McGorty. Thank you again for spending this evening with me. I like to make it interactive, so as much as possible, if you have questions, you know, I certainly don't mind if you, you know, put them in the chat box, and Anita will let me know, and, you know, we'll try to answer what we can along the way. So the webinar was called Starting a Franchise, and really what we're talking about is exploring franchise business ownership. So, but anyhow, my name is Therese McGorty, and you know, my husband and I bought our first franchise when we were 21 years old. We grew our footprint to 3 different locations. We were in the automotive industry. Over the years, we decided to make a change. So we sold those 3 units and bought another automotive concept, but just one location at this time. After probably about 12 or so years, we just decided that we wanted to do something else. We wanted to pursue different industries. And we sold that business to start other opportunities and to start a family, actually. So I work with, I'm missing my one slide. Maybe not. Yeah, this is what we will be talking about tonight, is business ownership. Why? 2, you know, what are some of your options? 3 is, you know, some risks and rewards. 4 will be some myths or facts, the best options for you, and your personal business model. So I work with a company called Frannet. We're over a 30-plus-year-old international franchise consulting firm. So we are across the United States. We are also in Canada. We have 100 plus locally based consultants. So actually right here in the Cleveland area, there are 3 of us. You know, there's different consultants in Cincinnati and Columbus. So, you know, different ones in California. So we're all over the United States and Canada. We also have national partnerships with SCORE and SBDC. We work closely with these groups, these industry experts, because they are working with people like you, and our values align. We just want to make sure that we help people get into a business that is a good fit for them. So our services are always 100% free to you, the client. So what do? We match prospects with opportunities in business ownership. We offer prospects the choices so that they can make an informed decision. We pre-screen all of our franchisors to our applicant standards, and all applicants are screened also to our franchisor standards. And most importantly, we do not sell franchises. So that's kind of the difference between a broker and somebody like myself. And the reason why franchisors like to work with us is because we are sending them the qualified franchisees, potential franchisees that might want to buy their franchise. You know, I don't know if you've ever done this. I know that there are times that I have. You know, I hate my job, not now, but back in the day. And I would, you know, go and see what kind of franchise opportunities and send away for all kinds of information. And they have to call all those people. So they really like to work with our clients because we're sending them qualified clients. So financing, you know, there are many lending opportunities. We recommend a couple of funding companies just because we have learned that they will give you all of your options. You know, if you go to a bank, many times they may not have an option that's a good fit for you. These companies will at least go over all of your options and educate you on what your best way to fund your business is. And then if it's an SBA, you know, you can always contact someone local to do that. So we also we have what we call a client bill of rights. We are here to help you, and we have a strict code of ethics that we follow. We will not pressure or talk you into an opportunity. What we do is we listen to your personal and professional concerns. We'll discuss with you your values, your motives, your lifestyle, your goals, most importantly, your budget. And what we're going to do is act more like a coach through the process. You are our client. The franchisors are not our client. Our goal is to make the process as mystery-free as possible. Let's face it, going into business, we get a lot of questions, and we don't really know who to talk to. Who should we ask? And sometimes we feel like our questions are silly. We're here to make it as easy and simple and as stress-free as possible. We never take all the fear out of going into business because you would probably be a little bit crazy if you weren't a little bit afraid. But we can help you educate yourself enough so that when you're making a decision, you feel very comfortable with the decision because you have done your homework. And that's what we are here to do. I myself, I have 5 kids, so I don't know how many times kids say no, but it's a lot. So, you know, whenever someone goes through the process with me and maybe they decide that this isn't for them, you know, no is always a perfect answer. Yes is always a good answer. I'll think about it is typically not a very good answer. It really means no, but you're just don't feel comfortable saying no. So I'd like you to just take a moment and imagine you're the owner of a successful business, you know, and how would your life be better? And if you just take a moment, close your eyes and think about that to yourself. If I were a business owner, I own my own business, how would my life be better? What kind of career pain or would I be getting rid of? And how would it help me improve my financial goals? Or how would it help me with my family and those kinds of things? Okay, hopefully you all have had a minute to kind of get a picture of that in your mind. So, you know, for everyone, business ownership is different, right? We all have a different reason for going into business. When I chose Frannet, so Frannet is a franchise. We drink our own Kool-Aid. When I chose Frannet, one of the reasons why I chose it was because it's what we call a lifestyle business. I had the opportunity to work around my kids' school schedule, their sports schedules, and things like that. Now, that doesn't mean that I couldn't work, but it did mean that if someone was homesick, I could still take them to the doctor. You know, I could maybe keep some appointments on the phone or those kinds of things. So that's at the time when I chose Frannet, that was why I chose that. When my husband and I went into business when we were 21, we didn't have any kids, and we didn't really have much to worry about. We were just all about making money, and you know, who thought about the fact that you might not be successful in business, right? But well, praise God, we were very successful. So, but you know, for some people, they want control. You know, just they're tired of getting downsized. They're tired of somebody telling them what time to be where and when. People are looking for financial security. Again, you know, no more layoffs. I don't know about you, but I attend a lot of job search groups. And, you know, there are people that have been laid off 3 and 4 times just because of companies restructuring. They want to earn more money. They're looking for independence. They're looking for flexibility. A lot of people are coming and looking for something that they can do that is more fulfilling than what they've been doing over the past few years. I recently talked to a gentleman that has been on the road since 2004, which means that he worked out of town all the time. So I don't know how I did that, but at any rate, so which one is it for you? All of these equal success. I'm sure there are more. So but you need to know why you want to go into business. In other words, I'm sure you've heard the old Simon Sinek saying, what is your why? So at any rate, why are you here today? I'm sorry, why are you here today? What are you looking for business ownership to do for you? Most people have the opportunity to go into business if they want to, but many people choose to continue to work for someone else. So we're going to explore some of the reasons why people continue to work for someone else. So there are thoughts, it's a risk. A job is safer than a business, or I'll wait until the economy is better. Sometimes, money, people don't have the money. It costs a lot of money to start and run a business. Other times people are concerned about not having enough knowledge, or not knowing where to start or find what I'm looking for. And the other thing is, that running a business takes specific talents and skills. So I don't know if this is it for any of you or not. But I just kind of want you to think about it. So just want to talk about, is working for someone else safe? I would say in the short term, yes, but today, in 2020, 21, 22, 23, and really starting from 2008, can you be sure that a job is safe? Does job performance even determine security anymore? And will working for someone else help you meet your long-term financial goals of security and retirement? So, those are some of the things that you have to think about when you think that that risk perception of a job is safer. So owning a business can be very scary, but the advantage is no one can take it away. You can't be downsized, you can't be transferred, and you can't be fired. You can grow the business at the pace you want. And the longer you own your business, the safer it becomes. Really what business ownership can bring is it brings you income security. I think back in the day, it was all about job security, and now we need to be concerned more about income security. So another concern is, how the economy can impact your business. And so what we say is to lower the risk by looking for businesses with a specific market characteristics. Now, I would ask you if we were talking, but, what do you think this means? It's kind of a mouthful, but really what I think it means is we try to put our clients with franchises that are more what we call Amazon proof. And what are some of the things that you think are Amazon proof? You could think of those in your mind, or if you want to put a couple of things in the chat box, that's fine. What are some businesses, franchises that you think could be Amazon proof? Okay. Nobody's going to play along with me today. Oh, good. There we go. We have a couple answers. Let's see. Home services is one. Yep, that's a good one. Anyone else? All right. So we also, so many businesses thrive in all economic conditions. And so when we're looking at businesses, we're looking at the businesses that are recession resistant, and they're essential services. So many, you can see here, senior care is a very growing business. Residential repairs and home modifications, cleaning services, in essential services, especially in Cleveland with our bus system. You need a car. It's very hard to get around without a car. Damage restoration. We have old pipes. We have tons of tree roots growing in those pipes. So there's a lot of water in basements a lot of times. Sign companies, commercial cleaning services, and then businesses that help other small businesses, business coaching, digital marketing, staffing, sales, and employee training. So, cars will always need maintained. I don't know about you. I think the last I checked, the average car on the that's being driven right now is about 12 years old, I think. So they definitely need repairs, and people don't want to go to the dealership because it usually costs a lot more and you have to wait longer. Homeowners still prefer to fix their homes rather than move, especially with the prices of the interest rates right now. Senior citizens will still need care. Many people are not moving their parents into, the nursing homes or assisted living places. And so their homes need to be fixed and, sometimes acclimated for the wheelchairs or, things that help them get in and out of the showers and those things. Essential businesses will still need support, such as signage, advertising, cleaning, and more. Another business that many people don't even think about is mosquitoes. They aren't going away, and preventative sprays will still always need to be needed. And children will still need tutoring, even more so over the next few years, because of when everyone was stuck staying at home during the pandemic, and kind of set kids behind in their education a little bit. All right, come on. So anyhow, there are several different options for business ownership. One is you can start a business from scratch. A lot of people choose to start a consulting business. Some people choose, we were talking, Anita and I, sometimes people think about starting a group home, social media. There's many businesses you could start from scratch. Another way is you can buy an existing business. Sometimes, people have been in business for 20, 30 years, or much like my husband and myself. And, at some point in time, you want to exit out, and that gives people an opportunity to buy that business. And the other opportunity is to buy a franchise. So I just thought we'd talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of each concept. And one of the advantages is, you can have total control. When you go in to start your business from scratch, you can have total control. You can do things the way you want to do them. You get to make all the decisions. There's tons of room for creativity. There's no predetermined rules. You get to make them all. There's a large upside when you start a business from scratch, and you can build a business from your passion. The disadvantages is you must create all the systems yourself. There's many times limited financial options. Banks are not quite as willing to loan to startups. Slower ramp up because you're busy trying to, come up with all those systems and find out what works, what doesn't work, and all of those things. And there is, sadly, a high failure rate. The other thing that I think about, that it says that, you know, there's no predetermined rules and no room and tons of room for creativity. I think about, oh my gosh, I would have to come up with even my own logo would be overwhelming for me. And I think about, you know, some people that have a hard time being on time for work anyhow. So would they show up, you know, for their own business on time? So when you buy an existing business, great advantages here. Again, you still have total control. There's cash flow already. There's goodwill built up. There's actual financial results. It's attractive to lenders. The market is already established. You have a customer base. You have employees. Some systems may be in place, and sometimes the owner will finance. So what are some of the disadvantages? Well, how can you have cash flow on both sides? Well, sometimes, you know, because the, you know, it costs more. So it's going to be a little bit harder cash flow for you. And you have goodwill on one side, and then you have bad will on the other side. When my husband and I bought our first business, it was a Shell station actually. And it was closed, and the guy before us, unbeknownst to us, had created a lot of bad will. And you know, people thought, one, they didn't even realize we were new owners, and so, you know, people were coming in because he had taken advantage of them, and there was a lot of complaints about the fact that he had taken advantage of people previously. So that wasn't very good for us. The business may be overpriced. Let's face it, whenever you go into business for yourself, it is your baby, and it's hard to put a price on your baby. So you have to make sure that you get the business evaluated. There's typically poor training and support. Many times the owner doesn't want to stay around and help do the training and give you the support that you need. It's very hard emotionally to do that. Sometimes there's hidden seller motives. I remember talking to a guy that back in the day, and I don't remember, excuse me, it's probably about, I don't even remember, but he bought a car wash that was out by Port Clinton. And then when they changed the road, or not by Port Clinton, but, well, yeah, by Port Clinton, when they changed the road, they it made that car wash, it was actually a truck wash, obsolete. Truck drivers weren't going to get off there anymore. He did not know that that road was going to be changed, and he lost a lot of money because he didn't know, he didn't do his research. Excuse me, I just gotta. So employee defection. You know, you may be a different kind of boss than the boss before. And so sometimes people do leave, and, you know, things, you're probably going to make changes, and, you know, people just don't want to follow the changes. And there's a higher debt to service. So buying a franchise, you know, when we bought our Shell station, you know, if we just bought an automotive repair shop, many people don't want to just go to, you know, Mark's automotive repair shop. That's why we bought a Shell station, because we wanted that name brand recognition, and a license and a trademark. And it also gives you many other, you know, like in the automotive industry, it gave us, you know, across the country warranty and things like that. There's a proven business system that they're going to train you on, and give you support. There's a lower failure rate. It's lower cost. And there's many more financing options. The banks really do like to support people going into franchises, so getting a loan is a little easier. We will be going over this in a couple of minutes, but there's what's called the franchise disclosure document, or the FDD. And franchise family. I think that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about being a franchise owner, was having, and now even with my franchise family with FranNet, you get to talk to people from across the United States that are doing the same thing that you are doing, and you're not in competition, and you get to encourage each other. You get to commiserate together, and you get to share ideas together. There's a conference every year. Most franchisors have a big conference every year, and you all come together and have, kind of like a family reunion, and it's really worth it. Disadvantages. I don't, there are fewer industry options. I don't know, you're not going to buy like a manufacturing business in a franchise or things like that, but there's so many industries now. There's a structured operating system in some franchises, and sometimes that's not good for people. They want some room for creativity. There's territory restrictions, again, not in all franchises, and you can only sell their products, and the ongoing royalty payments. Did I skip one? So a franchise is really very simply a license to use a name and, products, and in exchange for an initial franchise fee and for ongoing royalty payments. So, it just starts here: franchise headquarters, franchise operators to franchise customers. It's just the creation of a distribution channel to build brand identity and attain quick, market dominance. So I mentioned earlier, this is a government form, and it's called a Federal Disclosure Document, or in short, FDD. And what does this do for you when you're looking to buy a franchise? Well, it gives you all the franchisor info, for instance. How long have they been in business? What is the owners that are the owners? What is their experience? Have they had any bankruptcies? Are they in litigation? Sometimes there are problem franchises, and this is a way to be able to find out about all of that. It will also tell you the total investment. How much is the franchise fee? What are the other fees? Advertising, equipment, supplies, insurance, building out. If you get something that's a brick and mortar, like let's say you got a beauty salon, and so how much does all that cost? Then they usually include in that investment, they want you to have sometimes 3 to 4 months of working capital, and what are the royalty fees. So the franchise contract is also part of that. What are the obligations for the franchisors? Because it's not a one-way street. They do have obligations also. And what are your obligations? Should the franchise you choose have a territory? What is that size of the territory? This is probably the most important thing that is included in the FDD, and that is the current and past franchisees for the past 3 years. And you can contact. I always recommend my clients contact at least 10. Someone that's been in business a year, someone that's been in business 5 years, someone that's been in business 10 years, someone that's not doing well, someone that's doing average, and then someone that's knocking out of the ballpark. And that kind of covers all the, the whole area, the bandwidth. And then I suggest closing your eyes and just calling 4 more people, because those 6 that I suggested have to come from the franchisor. So you can just call 4, 5, 10, whatever you want yourself. And you get to ask them, so the franchisor says this, would you do it again? Do they offer the support that they said they offered? How much could I, expect to make in 3 years? So a lot of great questions can be answered. And when you're talking to a bunch of different franchisees, you have the they're not talking to each other and saying, this is what we're going to tell you. So you're getting the truth. And that's what I love about this. There's also what's called an item 19, the earnings claims. Every franchisor does this differently, but some just give you what the top percentile are doing. Many of them now have gotten much better about that, and they give you the top 20, the top 60, and the bottom 20, so that you have an idea of, where everyone falls. You get the financial statements, so they will, you'll get to see how much are people, what is the average rent that people are paying, what is the average payroll, and all of those things. Manager policy, that comes in. Sometimes people want to buy a franchise and they want to be semi-absentee. Some franchises allow that and some don't. So that's the manager policy, whether or not it can be semi-absentee or it needs to be owner operator. A renewal, termination, and transfer policy. So, let's say 5 years in, you want to, sell your franchise. How can I do that is in there. You decide that I'm sorry, did that backwards. Renewal is, you've been there 10 years. It's the end of the franchise contract. What happens? You definitely do not have to pay all new franchise fees. Usually it just renews, but it tells you in that agreement. The termination, let's say you decide you don't like this, you were unable to find someone to buy your franchise. How can I get out of this agreement? And the transfer policies, let's say you decide that you do want to sell it. How can I do that? So everything is right there so that you have the opportunity to know all of the ins and outs. So especially with being able to talk to current and past franchisees, they will let you know the success and failure rate. If you see a whole bunch of people that have terminated in the past 3 years, that tells you a lot. Fortunately, with FranNet, we do not just represent anybody. We represent only franchises that have a 90% or better success rate. And we do the extensive research to make sure that that's what we're doing. So this is not going to be so much fun because we can't play, but we're going to play, is it a myth or is it a fact? Okay. So myth or fact, franchising is only fast food and retail. So hopefully from our earlier conversation, that is a myth. The fact, there are over, really this template needs to be changed. There's over 4,000 different franchise companies out there in more than 90 different industries with over 900,000 operating units. So myth or fact, franchises succeed because of the quality of the product. Well, I hope you said myth. Can you make a hamburger? Would your hamburger happen to be better than McDonald's? So if it's not the product, then what is it? It's all about the business systems. Let's face it. Well, I won't I'll put my prejudice on there. I can make a better hamburger any day of the week than McDonald's. But when your kids are younger, especially, why do they want to go to McDonald's? Well, they want that toy that comes there, or they want that chocolate milk that comes with the Happy Meal, or those kinds of things. So it's really all about the marketing. It's all about the sales. It's all about the operations, and it's all about the accounting. Because let's say I could venture to say that some days, with how long those lines are at McDonald's, I could have made a hamburger faster than I could have gone through the drive-through. I don't know about anybody else, but so myth or fact, there are low-cost franchise opportunities. I hope you say fact, because it is a fact. There are low-cost opportunities out there. There is no automatic correlation between the cost of a franchise and the potential return. There are many affordable franchise concepts. You know, there are about 7% of the franchises are under $50,000. Between $50,000 to $100,000 is about 13% of the franchise concepts. 200 to 250,000 is about 20%, 26%. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing this. Between 250 and 500,000 is 26%, and over 500,000 is 28%. So you can see that there is a wide variety of costs. And the service businesses require far less capital investment and frequently yield higher returns. If you consider something like, you know, a painting company that doesn't need brick and mortar, you know, it's much more affordable to go into that franchise. And, you know, you don't have a whole bunch of equipment that you have to buy, and you don't have to build out a storefront or anything like that. So a lot of people get concerned again about the financial sources, you know, not having enough money to start a business. So when you're looking at going into a franchise, you know, your total investment of your money can be somewhere between 25 to 30%. And then you can finance 70 to 75% through the SBA. There are other sources. You can use some personal savings. Oops, sorry about that. You can. I got lost here. There we go. You know, you can use some personal savings. I don't highly recommend this, but you know, you can use friends, relatives, or partner. You know, my father-in-law always said money makes strange bedfellows. So I kind of feel like if you can't go into business on your own, you probably shouldn't do it. Right now, a popular way of going into business is to use your home equity line of credit, or it's also called a HELOC. Sometimes if you're buying a resale, you know, you can get the seller to finance some of that for you. And many people are unaware of the fact that they can use their 401k and IRAs tax-free and penalty-free. Sorry about that. So, myth or fact, you do not need industry experience. Well, again, I'm going to hope you said fact, because the fact is franchisors are looking for people who will use their system. They have created a system, and it's smarter to use the system. That's one of the reasons why you're paying for it. You will focus on being an owner with business management, business and management skills, and with people and communication skills. People that know how to also handle money. A franchise or trains the franchisee on how to use their system. Really, they don't want you to be out there, you know, let's say, you know, you bought a handyman franchise. They really want you to be an executive. They want you to have 4 or 5 guys out there fixing homes. They don't want you out there fixing homes. If you were to buy a painting franchise, they don't want you painting. They want you to be the owner. They want you to be the face of the business, and managing the P&L and managing the people. So this is going to be, this is the last fact or myth slide. And next we're going to talk about how to know what is the right franchise for you. So a franchise is a great fit when it's a vehicle that get you to your destination while meeting your lifestyle and financial goals. It's a way to reduce risk and income, and again, we talked a little earlier about income security versus job security. So, you know, there's many franchises out there, and I'm just going to bring up this one. I mean, in the morning, who wakes up in the morning and says, I think I want to open a franchise that cleans up dog poop? Not very sexy, not a sexy business, right? So, but what is sexy about a franchise is that what the franchise does for you. You know, what is sexy is, do you like how you will find out to get the business? Do you like who will be working for you? Do you like the hours that your business is open? You know, all of those things is what makes a business sexy. What is the income? You know, will it allow you the flexibility to do the things? Now, I'm not saying that you should hate picking up dog poop. I mean, I think you should, you know, or not be behind the franchise that you buy. You know, I mean, you need to at least somewhat like what you're doing. But I just want you to be aware that it's really about separating the role of the owner from the function of the business. And if picking up dog poop is not something that offends you, and you wouldn't be embarrassed to go and tell people, I bought this kind of franchise, and it meets all of your criteria that you set up in a business model, then it's a great fit for you. Hopefully that makes sense. So why pay royalties? Well, in exchange, royalties are a trade-off. They, you know, exchanging some profits for the long term for risk reduction in the short term. Because good franchisors, you lose money in the short term. They make money over the long term. You know, they lose money because they're getting smaller royalty payments. Your sales are low, so their royalty payments are low. And that is when support costs are high. I can remember even when I started this business here, you know, I would be on the phone. How did you say to do that again? Wait, I have a customer on the phone. I'm not really sure. What do I do? How do I help them? Every business, you know, the first, you know, bit of time is nerve-wracking for you because you learned all these things somewhere else, and now you have to apply them. And that's what the franchisor is there for, to help you answer all of those questions. But they do make money over the long term, because as your sales grow, the royalty payments to them grow, and the support costs are low. The other thing that I think about is a lot of the businesses that have been around for long time, you know, franchises like the Lawn Doctor has been around for over 50 years. Mr. Handyman has been around for many years. Roto-Rooter, you know, all of these franchises are franchises that have withstood the test of time. The franchisor has put the money into that business to keep it relevant. And so that's another area that your franchise fees go to continue to keep you relevant. So how does franchising work? It's a proven systematic approach to starting and staying in business. You know, they have the experience. They make it simple. They give you the training and support. They give you the name recognition. They give you the sales, marketing, and operational systems. And it is a true culture of teamwork. So you are, you know, not all franchises are the same. Some have a whole bunch of units, and some have fewer units. Some are very well established. Some, like what I had mentioned earlier. And then there are new franchises coming out every day that have, you know, less than 50 franchisees yet. Some are structured versus some flexible systems. And some are expensive versus inexpensive. Remembering that there's no correlation between the cost of the franchise and the potential return. So beware of statistics. Sometimes people like to throw statistics out there. There are no average franchises. You should only care about your success. This was great information that my father-in-law gave to my husband and I when we went into business a long time ago. And we used to talk about, you know, this, you know, the marathon, this is what the marathon is doing. This is what Sunoco is doing. This is what BP is doing, all of that. And he said, you know what, you need to worry about inside your own four walls. And as soon as we started focusing about what was going on inside our own four walls, business got much better. Make sure the franchise you are interested in is a great fit for you. For instance, if senior care is, a great growing business, and you can do very, very well and make great money. But if you don't have a heart for, your people taking care of seniors, it's not a very good business for you. If it's pets, the pet industry, the pets, there's just nothing more you could say. It's such a booming, amazing industry. But if you don't like pets, that would not be a good fit for you. So make sure too that you do your homework like we talked about it earlier. So what I love about franchising is you're in business for yourself, but you are never by yourself. So you want to ask yourself these questions. Am I willing to follow a franchisor's systems? Is it affordable? Is the risk level acceptable? And will I enjoy my business? And this comes to where we're going to be talking about building your business model and finding your perfect fit. But you want to be thinking about what's important to you. Is challenge and recognition and prestige important to you? Or is building equity for retirement more important? Is having time for family and interests? That's the one guy that I talked to earlier this week that, he's been on the road for so many years. And he said, I just want to be home with my family. Is having independence and control more important? Or financial security? It is different for everybody. And none of it is right or wrong. So we have what's called an entrepreneur profile. And you will receive, where it measures your values, your motives, your core competencies. And then we will talk about the business characteristics for you, which is building your business model, thinking about how many employees do you want working for you and what kind of employees do you want working for you? Do you mind if high school students work for you or seniors work for you? Do you want professional people, skilled or unskilled? What is your budget? One of the things that I hear from people sometimes is, well, I don't really have a budget. It all depends on the ROI. And I hear ROI, ROI, ROI. And that is true that the ROI is important, but if you can't sleep at night, if you invest $250,000, that is not a good investment for you. You really need to establish a budget and say to yourself, have a conversation with your spouse, that what amount can you both go into business and feel comfortable and sleep with. The business environment. Some people cannot work from home. And I'm not ratting my husband out. I'm just saying he is not the kind of person that could work from home. When he did, he would turn the TV on every day first. And that's not a very good way to start your workday, in my opinion. And because sometimes he would forget to turn it off. And but anyhow, so can you work from home? Do you want to have an office to go to? Do you want a retail place? Now, myself, before the pandemic and when there was a lot more networking and things like that, I worked from home, but really I would have to have said I worked from my car more. I went out, and did a lot of networking, went to a lot of networking events. Do you want to work full or part-time hours? The difference between being semi-absentee and owner-operator. And just to help also set in your mind, there is no absentee business. If there was, everybody would be out there trying to do it. You do need to be a part of your business. Even the semi-absentee ownership opportunities, you really need to put in about 20, no less than 20 hours a week. And it's something that when you're calling franchisees, you need to validate whether or not, how many hours are they putting in as a absentee franchise owner. How many units do you want? When we owned 3, after a while for us, 3 became, more than we wanted to deal with because we wanted to start a family. So that's why we sold 3 and bought into 1. What types of customers do you want? Do you want repeat customers? Do you want, just high ticket customers? Do you want to sell a service or a product? And you can read the rest of those there. But then when we receive your profile, we'll set up a time, to build your business model. And, we'll talk about your transferable skills. Some people are better at sales and marketing than others, so maybe you need the kind of business that is more direct mail driven. Some people are better at operations and would need to hire a salesperson. Some people are better in the finances and they would need to hire someone to do the other portions. So we talk about all those things that you are good at, so that we're matching the right franchise to that. And then we'd also talk about, what do you need to live on that first year? Because really you need to have enough money to live on, saved, to live on that first year, unless maybe your spouse is working. And, in 5 years, what would be a home run? If you met all of your dreams, we want to talk about that. What does it look like to have a home run in 5 years in your franchise? In 10 years, are you thinking about, maybe I'm going to start selling this? Maybe you need to start, doing some of the, getting prepared to sell it, if that's what you want to do. Or am I going to continue to operate this franchise? Or am I going to leave it as a legacy to my kids? 20 years. So just kind of having an idea, so that you have, the kind of exit strategy that you want to have. Some additional resources. A franchise attorney, you want to have someone that's going to be able to read over your contract for you, your agreement, just to make sure that there's nothing in there that you don't understand. And of course, you want to have an accountant. Some great reading, a book called More Than French Fries, written by a bunch of FranNet consultants. I was not one of them, but, and they talk about their experiences of helping other people become franchisees and things like that. The E-Myth Revisited is an excellent book. I recommend it to anyone who's going to become a business owner. You need to really understand, when back in the day when we first went into business, you could operate and have your head under the hood, so to speak. But business ownership has become much more professional over the years, and you need to be the person running your business and operating your business, managing the P&L and managing your people, and not have your head under the hood. So the E-Myth Revisited is a great book. Street Smart Franchising is also a great book. So right here, this is my QR code. If you would like to take that entrepreneur profile, you could just click on this with your phone, and it'll take you right to that profile. And that is free, personal, and confidential. And then here is my contact information and my email, my phone number. This is my website. And, you can feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So do you have any questions?
Just curious, of the people who come to you considering franchise, what percentage of them end up buying a franchise?
To be honest, probably 2 out of 5.
Okay. And what are some of the reasons why people decide against it?
They realize that they just didn't want to follow the system, is one thing that a lot of people do, because that's why we put people through a process when we're helping them. And, as they're following the process, they realize that they, just aren't very good process followers. And I would say another gigantic reason is fear. Some people just get too afraid and allow the fear to paralyze them.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's see, here's a question. What's the benefit of franchising versus management partnerships? I'm
Well,
not-
yeah, could you maybe explain that question a little bit better? Who's ever asking it are you talking kind of like the difference between a franchise and something like a Chick-fil-A? Is that what you mean?
I'm assuming a management partnership would be where it's a company that comes in and manages the business for you, maybe, which could be a franchise, I suppose.
I suppose. So a lot of time, a lot of people think that Chick-fil-A is a franchise, and there are some business ownership opportunities out there that where maybe you come to the table with, let's say, $10,000, and you run the business, and you and the what's this called? Franchise, the management partnership, which I think this is what this person is talking about, is then you share in the earnings. But they also have the benefit of telling you when you can work, when you have to work, and many times where you're going to work. So it's not the true flexibility that franchise business ownership gives you.
Okay, very interesting. Well, that seems to be the only question. So I've certainly learned a lot.
Good.
And I think it's been a great presentation. I hope that everybody who joined us this evening has felt that they've learned a lot, and maybe you've helped them make a decision whether they want to pursue a franchise or not, which is
Yes, and
interesting.
please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer all of your questions.
And again, you will be getting the slides and a link to the recording. So the QR code and the links in the slides will be live when you get them. So you can pursue that directly with Therese. And if there are no more questions, I would say thank you all for participating, and thank you, Therese, for a great presentation and a lot of wonderful information. And,
thank you. I would also like to say, I don't remember the exact date. I would like to say it's the 23rd, maybe. If any of you want to come back, we will be having a panel talking about the same exact thing. So.
And I think that'll be great because you'll be hearing directly from people who have purchased franchises and what their experience has been. And that's always very informative and worthwhile, I think. So we'll look forward to that. And enjoy the rest of your evening.
Well, Shanisha, I can send you in the right direction for some of that if you would like. You can reach out to me, and I can give you some information on how you can do that.
Sounds good. So you got one customer.